All right, my friends, welcome back to the MDmedic Podcast. This show is all about making you the sexiest, the richest, the best man that you can possibly be. And today, I'm going to teach you guys how to make money with your mind. Let's go. Alright guys, let's get right into it, but before we do, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram at MDmedic Podcast. I give you daily motivation and inspiration to be great. Also, go ahead and hit the subscribe button for this channel. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, do it all. We are here. Also, I want you guys to know that the audio-only version of this podcast is available on Spotify. Channel name is the same as right here on YouTube, MDmedic Podcast. Okay guys. Earning money starts with your mind, and you got to get to that paper. You got to earn money out here. We're all about trying to build you guys into high value men, to make you guys the strongest, the richest, the best, the most successful you can be. And you have to have wealth as part of that equation. You see, wealth equals social status. Throughout human history, the men that were revered were the ones that were the warriors, the conquerors, those that were able to assert their will upon other people. But, it's not exactly socially favorable now to challenge people to sword fights to the death in the middle of the street to exert your manhood. But what you can do, an equivalent sign of dominance now in the 21st century, is status. You build your status to show that you're a modern day conqueror, a king, a warrior. Instead of conquering tribes and bringing back trophies and bringing back treasures and plunder and slaves and women that you've taken as concubines, instead of doing that, nowadays, the way that you show that you're the G, that you're the chief, that you're the dom, that you're that guy, that you're the guy to be feared, that you're the guy to be respected, the way you show that is by accumulating wealth and by accumulating status. And that makes a high value man. You got to get this money for a multitude of reasons. One of the biggest ones is that you have to be above average. We talk about on the show how miserable life is for average men. Average man, 75% of Americans are either overweight or obese. The average man earns between $30,000 and $40,000 a year. That's some brokey stuff. That's unacceptable. The average guy, 33% of them have not had sex in the past year or are a virgin, period. 33%, that's average. And the average guy on Tinder, on popular dating apps, I'll pull up that study metric again. I always show it. I always quote it. The average guy on dating apps only has a 1 in 115 chance of getting liked by a woman on any given date. That's a 0.87% chance. That is unacceptable. As a man, the way you become attractive is not just your physique. That's part of it. It's not just how you look in the face. It's part of it. It's not just how you dress and how you carry yourself. That's a big part of it, but also your status. Men are measured in terms of attractiveness across a bunch of different metrics, including status. See, that Tinder study that I quoted, that I'm showing up on the screen right now, that Tinder study showed that 100% of women want men that are in the top 10 to 20% of attractiveness level in terms of physique, appearance, socioeconomic status, all of these things. And the average guy, the bottom 80%, the vast majority, they are hopeless when it comes to attracting women. The women that you want, they don't want you if you're a brokey, so you got to get this money. You know, throughout human history, the existence of a peasant, the existence of the bottom men of society, the existence of those who were just the ground workers, the slaves, the peasant class, the serfs, that existence has never been coveted. As a matter of fact, those people have always tried whatever they can to get out. Whole rebellions have been fought to get people out of serfdom. Look at the Boer Rebellion in Russia to get people out of serfdom. Look at the Civil War in the United States to get people out of slavery. No one has ever wanted to be at the bottom of the rung in society. The caste system in India caused so much societal instability because people were so unhappy in being on the bottom. No one has ever wanted to be on the bottom. As an average man, your existence today is miserable. You can't be on the bottom. So you got to get to this money. You got to get to this money. Money gives you status. Money gives you a place in society, and money gives you options in women. As I said, the reason why men sin, don't sin. Resist the simp mind. The reason why most men simp is because they have a scarcity mindset when it comes to women. And I get it. I mean, if your possibility of getting women is only like a 1 in 115 chance, and it's, only the overweight fugly chicks that'll even consider you, I would understand why you'd have a scarcity mentality. But when you get to this money, when you get yourself some status, you're more confident in yourself, you have more options, you have an abundance mindset, so you can resist the simp mind. Money is freedom, right? Money is the ability to live free. You don't like the government here, you go somewhere else. The Matrix takes over. The people over in Davos, they put the West under their thumb. They make it where you own nothing and they want you to be happy. You can just say, peace, I'm out of here. I'm going to the East. I'm going to Latvia. I can still live free. Money gives you freedom. Nuclear war breaks out or the asteroid hits. Money gives you the ability to stock up a whole bunch of things and be prepared, to dig that bunker in your backyard, to have a bunch of silver and gold to trade in the apocalypse, to have a bunch of food, guns, weapons, medicine. Yes, I do think high-value men should be preppers, and that'll be a whole nother episode. But money gives you the freedom to do these things. And a lot of people say being greedy, accumulating money, being miserly, all of these things, these are bad. Getting money is terrible, it's immoral, it's wrong, but I'm telling you, if you have more money, it can enable generosity. And one of the things that I personally find the most fulfilling is being able to go to a gas station and see this single mom next to me. I see that she's got a beat up car with a bunch of kids in it, and I literally see her counting the dollars to see how much gas that she can get, to just be able to say, you know what, I got it, and go and swipe my card, fill up her tank. Or being at the grocery store and see a struggling family and just be like, you know what, I got everything in your cart. And I'm not doing this to brag, but this past Christmas, I was at the store buying some Christmas presents, getting some things, and I saw this woman. She was clearly in distress. She was like actually crying because she was under so much stress to feel like she had to get her kids Christmas presents, and she was a single mom, and single moms, they're struggling because they've rejected the stability that comes from finding a high value man. We've talked about that before, but we still feel sympathetic for these people. So this single mom, she was struggling. She was in emotional distress. It was obvious. And because I had the means, I was able to go up to her and just be like, you know what? All these Christmas presents, I see that you're going through a lot right now. Whatever's in your cart, whatever you need to get, I want to take care of it. Because that's what God's put on my heart. And having that paper, having that money allows you to be that guy, to be in the position of generosity, to be able to do things like that. And for you people that want to quote the Bible and say, oh, money's bad, money's the root of all evil, that's not true. The Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil. Actually, if you read Deuteronomy chapter 15, verse 6, it says, the Lord your God will bless you as he promised, and he will allow you to lend to others, but you will not need to borrow from them. You will rule over others, but none will rule over you. That means you got this paper. That means you got the money to lend out. God wants you to be rich. As a man of value, you need to be rich. As a man who has a life worth living, you need to get to this paper. So I'm going to teach you guys how to use your mind to make that money. So let's first start off this way. You will never get rich by just earned income. You have to figure out a system of creating wealth, not earning it. A system that will make assets for you, that generate money, that go and recruit other dollars and bring them to you. Because if you just rely on a job to get money, to secure financial status, even if it's a high-paying job, even if you're a doctor, however much money you make is limited by the amount of hours in a day. If you get paid hourly, you can only work so many hours in a day. You can only work 24 hours in a day. If you get paid as a salary basis, you are capped off. So if you can develop a system to create wealth and not just, work for it, then you can be in a situation where you can be truly financially free. And in order to create that, you need to use your mind. But at first, when you're getting into this, you have to use your earned income in order to have capital to generate assets. So first step, work your butt off. If you have a 9-to-5 job, if you were, a factory worker, if you were a paramedic like I was, if you are a student, pick up another job. Man, like working through med school, I'm telling you, it's hard, but it's something that I've been able to do. Working full time while going even further, one of the hardest curriculums that there is. There's no excuse for you. If I could do it, you can do it. No matter what your job is, no matter what your job title, no matter what your pay scale is, if you just work a bunch of overtime, you can make a whole lot of extra money, especially if you're already used to living on your 40-hour-a-week income, right? Take all the extra money, and then you have all that money to reinvest, to go and put towards assets that are going to make more things for you. And then you have to use your mind to see what things might be assets. Be perspicacious enough to see things that could be generating money, to see where money is moving and getting its way. That's one thing that Andrew Tate said. I know I always quote Tate, but the dude is brilliant. He's a billionaire, almost, if he's not already. He's obviously generated an explosive way of creating money. And so we should mimic those who've made money. I want you to watch this clip and see what he says. He talks about how money is everywhere. And we just have to find a way to get in its way. Money's always moving. There's always a transaction of money from one place to another. You have to see where that's happening and stand in the middle in between. And that's how you can create wealth. Watch this.
Perspicacity. Most people go through life and they do not pay attention. I've said this before and I want to stick by it because it's so important. You need to pay attention to every single time you spend money because you cannot make money. You're not the Federal Reserve, you're not a government. Governments make money. All of us take money from somebody else or a business or a government. We take money from other things. So the easiest way to learn how to get good at taking money is to pay attention to every time someone takes money from you. So next time you buy a coffee, don't just buy the coffee and drink it and think nothing of it like every brokey. Don't do that. Say, okay, why am I buying this coffee? Okay, I want a coffee. All right. Why am I buying here? Well, this is on my way to work. Is there any competition around? Do I also want breakfast? Do they sell breakfast? No, they don't sell breakfast. They could probably make some more money there selling breakfast. Anyway, I walk in, there's a long line. Why is there one member of staff? I'm low on time. I'm about to leave and not buy the coffee. They're about to lose money because it's taking too long. Most of the people in this line are businessmen. Why is there not a cute girl behind the counter? I bet if they paid a cute girl a little bit more, they'd still make a bunch more money because people come in here to talk to her. Think. And then what you'll do is, as you go through life, every time you spend money, is you'll realize the problem is not how to make money. The problem is how much time you have, because there's endless business ideas. There's endless ideas. I walk into a coffee shop, and by the time I've walked out, I already know exactly how to open up next door and outcompete them head to toe. I already have worked out how much is the rent, where are they fucking up, what are they not selling that they should be selling, what are they doing good, what are they doing bad, this chair's too hard, I'll wreck them. And I'll send it, and now my network is so powerful, which is the second point, network. I can send a few messages on WhatsApp and make a bank transfer. And 2 months later, there's a brand new coffee shop next door with my name on it, putting them out of business. So the first thing is you have to pay attention. Because if you pay attention, you'll start to learn that money is everywhere. Every building is owned. These are skyscrapers, bro. Billions. Every apartment nowadays is a million. Million. You drive down a street in London, you're driving past trillions of dollars. There's money everywhere. It's all around us. When I was broke, I thought that the world was broke. I thought that there was no money. And then I got rich and realized that I was completely and utterly wrong. There's so much money. It's everywhere. If I go to try and buy a plane or a jet, they're always sold out. My yacht is a fucking 6-year waiting list. I want a Bugatti, they launch it, the email comes to my email address, 2 minutes later, gone. Like, there's so much money. If I want a diamond watch or $1 million watch or $1 million Rolex, you can't get this stuff. There is so much money out there. Once you get to a certain echelon, you realize there's money fucking everywhere. So there's plenty of money in the world. People with no money are just not very good at taking it. Get in the right place at the right time, and you're gonna get some money. Money is always moving. It's never still. You cannot make money. I don't like when people say make money, because it's not true. You're not the Federal Reserve. You can take money from someone else, or they can give it to you. So how do you get people to give it to you? Well, then look where they're already giving their money. These people give their money to this. Okay, is there any way I can get in between that? Or is there any way I can launch a competition? So you gotta always identify, where is money moving? Can I stand in the middle? And if I can stand in the middle, can I make it? Can I make money? And is it worth it?
Find where money is moving and get in its way. Just like I don't want you guys to have a scarcity mindset when it comes to women, also I don't want you to have a scarcity mindset when it comes to money. Money is literally everywhere. Everything you see is money. Every house that you drive past, every building that you drive past is a representative of money. Money's flowing. People are paying rent. People are renting out a building to live in. Builders are being paid to build that building. Money is being transferred when the contractor buys the land to build the plot of construction on. You know, the city, the municipality is making money from the building by taxes. Money is always moving. Every time you go to a restaurant, money's moving. You're sending money to this establishment to get food, which they are marking up from wholesale price. The food is being purchased from farms. Farms are making a profit off of it. Truckers are making a profit from moving that food from the farms to the food processors. Money is everywhere. Money is always moving. You just have to see where it's moving, find out how you can exploit it and get in its way. And I'm going to give you some examples of how money is moving and how you can get in its way. Real estate is one of the biggest ones that I like. Real estate is a way to get a consistent amount of income that is always appreciating. You know, the stock market has gone up and down. Values of the S&P 500 have gone up and down over the course of history. There's been market crashes, there's been market booms, but for the past 80 years, the one thing that has never declined is rent prices. I'll say that again, over the past 80 years, rent prices have always gone up and have outpaced inflation. So real estate is the move. So use your mind, be perspicacious, and look at the different possibilities that are out there. Look at the different places where real estate might actually be beneficial for you. And like, you know, we talk about a housing crash right now, a housing market crash, meaning that, you know, the prices of houses that people own, the prices of people's properties, they initially went up during the pandemic and now they're going down. And so it's really hard for people who are losing value in their house because their prices are going down. They might have bought it at $100,000 and now it's worth $60,000. But if you're smart, you can be winning regardless of how the market is doing. If you're a person who rents out houses, who has people renting from you, you know, then no matter what the housing market is doing, your rent prices stay the same. And that actually makes houses that are, you know, decreasing value cheaper for you to buy. So then you're winning. So think about this. If you take, you know, a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house and you split it into a triplex. You have an apartment that has 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, and then 2 other apartments with 1 bed and 1 bath. You're charging $800 a month for, you know, the 2-bedroom house, and then for the other 1 bedrooms you're charging $600 a month. You are making active income right there every single month. It's $2,000 a month. Now imagine if you had 10 houses like that you're making $10,000 or $2,000 a month out of. That's $20,000 a month passive income right there, money making money for you. You take that money, you buy other houses as the prices of real estate are going down for the buyer's market, but in terms of the renter's market, you're still charging the same. As inflation increases, you increase the rent. Done. You're making your money there. Use your mind to make money. See where money is moving and getting its way. In terms of real estate, another thing to pay attention to is area. You can even capitalize on the area. Like everyone sees Silicon Valley and they're thinking, money's moving here. There's technology, there's industries, there's Apple, there's Google, there's all these different tech firms where a lot of money is moving. But if you actually look and think a little bit deeper than that, if Silicon Valley industries crash, what is in Silicon Valley to keep people inherently there? Not a whole lot. Silicon Valley industries crash. We all just saw the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. The big bank that a lot of these businesses were borrowing billions of dollars for to have capital to expand. So it's not totally like a remote possibility that this happens. If these big Silicon Valley industries were to happen to, collapse out of nowhere, there's nothing left in that area for people to inherently want to stay. And so if you buy a bunch of real estate there, right now you're buying some of the most expensive real estate in America. You can charge a lot for the rents there, but at the same time, California taxes are terrible because they're a communist state. And if if the industries in the area collapse and people leave and the market prices, devalue for the houses, you're in a huge money pit. Just jacked up. You don't have renters to rent your houses now. The people that are left can't afford the rents that you'd be charging, and the cost of the house that you bought it at is much higher than the cost in which you're able to even sell it for. So you're taking an L there. But if you look at places like West Virginia, for example, they're really poor, right? These are places without super strong, robust economies, places that a lot of people don't want to live. And because a lot of people don't want to live there, that the people that are already there, that's probably the baseline. It's probably not going to get any lower than that. So the people that are already there, they're not going anywhere. You're not going to have a lower population than what it already is. And there is inherent industries in places like West Virginia that are always going to be there. Coal mining, for example. There's always going to be a need for coal as long as the communists don't take over, which they're trying to. But there's always going to be a need for coal and a need for energy. And the people that are there and that are staying in West Virginia, they're probably not going anywhere. So there's an inherent value. There's an inherent industry that's tied to the land. People are always going to be there. And you can buy a whole bunch of houses for super cheap there. I was looking at some houses in West Virginia. And, I saw this one house. It was like 2 bedrooms, 2 bath. But then also on the property, it was like on an acre and a half of land. On the property, there was like 3 other little sheds that they were using as 1 bedroom, 1 bath houses that could also be rented out as apartments. And the total price for the entire property was $25,000. $25,000. That is it. For a total of like 4 rentable units. And you can look all throughout West Virginia, and there's places like this all over. You can buy house after house after house after house. Especially if you leverage, let's just say you decide to leverage your money. So you take out a loan for $100,000. You put 10% down, $10,000. You get $100,000. You use that to go and buy 4 houses in West Virginia that you can end up splitting, into an average of 2 to 3 apartments each. And you have the rent payments from all of those houses paying and exceeding your monthly loan payment for your $100,000. That is how you use your mind to make money. You have the investor mindset where you can create wealth. Create wealth, don't earn it. Look for opportunities where money is moving and get its way. People are always going to need places to live. People are always going to need a place to stay. When people aren't able to afford the newest iPad, when the economy is crap, when it's hard for people to get jobs, when it's, stock prices are down, when people can't afford luxury goods, a brand new TV, it doesn't matter. They're still going to need a roof over their head, and you're always going to be making money. So boom, real estate's an example. Another example, I always talk about it, but I really think there's a lot of promise here. Rumble, the social media platform that all of the people in Red Pill movement are moving to, and likely I will probably have to at some time in the near future, because YouTube is not a big fan of free speech, and nor is any of the other mainstream matrix platforms. But Rumble stock, I honestly believe, is going to make some millionaires. Rumble is trading, it has been trading over the past couple months at, between $8 and $10 per share. It's in a little down slump right now. And the problem with Rumble is it's very, volatile to emotions. As people get scared about things, as the news goes on, of topics regarding the red pill, things go up and down, stocks go up and down based on, who's running for president, how the political cycles look. People in the red pill community, we like our crypto. So as crypto goes down, Rumble seems to go down too. And same thing happens when crypto goes up, Rumble seems to go up too. But overall, I believe that Rumble's vastly undervalued and has a whole lot of value. A lot of people are moving over to Rumble. You see Jordan Peterson interested in Rumble. You see Russell Brand moving all the way to Rumble completely. Fresh and Fit shifting towards that way. Sneako's completely on Rumble. The biggest name in social media now, Andrew Tate, he is pretty much exclusively on Rumble. It's the move of the future. And as YouTube and other mainstream platforms crack down even more on free speech, Rumble's going to grow. So I've bought a ton of Rumble, and it goes up and down, but I do not allow myself to get emotional when I look at Rumble going up or going down, because I know that overall it's going to be in the green and it's going to be a huge return on investment, especially when Andrew Tate gets out of jail. When Andrew and Tristan get released, as they should, because they're being held over some false charges that were disproven a year ago, and there's no actual charges against them now. The Matrix is after them. Free the Tates. But when the Tates get released, the entire world is going to go crazy to hear what they have to say. They're going to be all over Rumble, and the world is going to go to Rumble, and Rumble prices are going to go straight up. If you look at the stock price of Rumble since the Tates actually got on Rumble, that's when it started going up and increasing. So them moving to Rumble in the first place made it go up. But then when they get out of jail, there's going to be a whole lot of money to be made by this Rumble stock. You guys watch. Millionaires are going to be made off of Rumble. Another example of money always moving and ways you can pay attention to see money, to see where money is moving and get in its way. Even if you don't agree with how the money is moving, you can still exploit it. For example, you guys hear about this, conflict over in Ukraine. You can't really help but hear about it. There's a lot of corruption going on. There's a lot the media is not telling you. The media is not being upfront with who's the actual good guys and who's the actual bad guys, because let's just say there's a lot of people involved from Davos who have an agenda going on here. And I'm going to just say this. If ever the mainstream media says, here's this narrative, believe it blindly, don't ask questions, it's probably a really good reason to ask questions and to not completely believe what they're saying blindly. But I think you guys get where I'm going with that. So, you guys heard President Biden. He made this announcement a couple months back about how he's sending a bunch of our, top tier Abrams battle tanks over to Ukraine to help them fight this war. Even though he said, I'm not going to have any kind of escalation in war, but he's giving them modern tanks to fight this war, and even putting us in a position of weakness, because now we're short some of the tanks that we would need to fight someone like China if a war were to break out tomorrow. The generals in the Pentagon and the secretaries of defense, they all said, hey, this is probably not a good move. But, old Joe did it anyway.
Come on, man.
So sends all these tanks over there. Now we're in a position where we are, kind of in a bad place. Like, we're not as prepared as we should be. We don't have the tanks that we need to defend ourselves. And so, our defense contractors like Northrop Grumman and Boeing and General Electric, they're all going to need to step up their production of weapons so that we can be prepared. Because they're stepping up the production of weapons, and because material prices are going up, and because the government is in a position of need, these producers can charge whatever they want to the government for their products. And the government is going to have to buy it. They're just going to have to, because they're in a position of desperation because Sleepy Joe decided to put us there. But with that being said, even though I didn't agree with the whole transfer of all the tanks to the Ukrainians, I still said I'm going to make some money off of this. So you know what I did? I went and I bought stocks in Northrop Grumman because I knew that these people are now going to get some new military contracts. They're going to be able to charge what they want. They're going to actually, profit from the new tanks and new weapon systems that they're producing in order to replace that which we would get into Ukraine. And I see it as a possibility to make money because that is how the investor mindset works. You look to see where money is moving and you get in its way. And had I known what I know now about money, about the nature of investing, about how money moves, about the dynamics of, how money goes from one place to another and how that can be exploited. Had I known what I know now, man, because of COVID, I could have been a billionaire. I don't think you guys realize that probably the biggest wealth transfer of our lives was during the COVID pandemic. So much money changed hands. So many millionaires and billionaires were made. I don't know if there's ever going to be a transfer of wealth to that magnitude for a very long time. There's always opportunities to make money that always present, and that's why you're always paying attention so you can see them. But there was so much opportunity to be made during this pandemic. Excuse me. There was so much money to be made. Had I known what I know now, I could have been a billionaire. And I'm going to show you exactly how the investor mind works. If I could have, rewinded 3 years back, guys, listen, I would give a chromosome in order to go back to this time in 2019, knowing what I know now, going into this pandemic. Here's how the investor mind can make you money. Here's how the mindset, your mind is an asset, your mind is a money generating asset, can make you money. Had I known what I know now, back in 2019, I would have worked a bunch of overtime, as much overtime as I could possibly find. Stored up a whole bunch of money, a whole bunch of capital just ready to deploy. The moment I heard the first news about, some coming out in China, that was spreading across the world and everybody's freaking out, the moment I heard about that, I would have bought up as much toilet paper from Dollar Tree that I possibly could. Those 4 and 6 packs when Dollar Tree actually was $1 and Biden inflation didn't get a hold of it, make it $1.25 tree, where that you could get those 4 packs of toilet paper. Even though it was cheap, people didn't have toilet paper, period. They were willing to buy it. So I would have bought as much of that as I can before the big panic hit. I'd have bought as much hand sanitizer as I could from Dollar Tree, as many surgical masks as I possibly could. Bought tons of them, hoarded them up in a shed, in a garage, rented out a storage unit, whatever. Pandemic hits, everybody freaks out. I mark that stuff up 500%. I sell all of it. Back when you guys remember that. You guys remember when everybody was terrified and trying to buy hand sanitizer and breweries were distilling their own hand sanitizer out of ethanol because everyone was freaking out. The mask crisis, they were running out of masks and no toilet paper. You could have made a killing selling that stuff. I'd had a bunch of cash. I'd have flipped all that stuff. Then I'd have taken all that money and set up a food delivery system. I heard a story about a guy in the UK who, he was watching the progression of the pandemic and he was waiting for lockdowns to come. And this is a guy, he had Jamaican heritage. And basically, as soon as they announced they were going to lock down, he went to the store, bought up a bunch of ingredients, turned his house into a big old industrial kitchen, and basically had his wife make a bunch of home-cooked Jamaican meals in to-go boxes that this man used social media to market to people in his community and delivered home-cooked meals to their houses and was making like $30,000 a month. Man, I would have done something like that. So I'd taken all this money that I had made from selling this toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and mask, taken all that money, moved to the food delivery, the food, home cooked meals, food delivery system for people in my community. My brother is a, world-class professional chef. Could have had him help me out in this, thrown him a cut, delivered to people all around. And mind you, during the pandemic, gas was like, $1.90. Shout out to Trump. Make America great again. So, I would have bought as much of that money that I had made from selling this toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and mask, taken all that money, moved to the food delivery, the food, So sold all this food to people, made a bunch of money, had even more capital. I mean, at this point, I probably could have had hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of capital just sitting, waiting to be deployed. And then I ought to take this money and turned it into the real money, into the stock markets, right? Money was moving like crazy during the pandemic, especially when it comes to media. Because people were locked at home. People were just sitting at home doing nothing and had to find ways to be entertained. So you see companies like GameStop. The amount of money that was made in GameStop was ridiculous. So I want you guys to see something. Look at this right here. So between January 11th and February 5th, 2021, GameStop went from a low price of $4.75 per share to $120.75 per share. That is wild, guys. Like, things like this, explosive growths like this are almost unheard of. All that money that I would have made from the selling toilet paper, hand sanitizer, moving that into food delivery, get a bunch of money. I'd have bought a ton of stocks at the low price of $4.75, waited for them to go up to 100 something, sell that, had explosive growth like that. Then I would have taken that money that same year, just a couple months later. Now we're in, May of 2021. Look at this. I'd have put it in Dogecoin. So Dogecoin, before, the spring, summer of 2021, Dogecoin was consistently about a quarter cent per Dogecoin. So, as I said, that's 0.25 cents per coin. I'd have taken all those hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars even that I made from the GameStop trade, taken that money, turned it back into liquid capital, put it all into Dogecoin at that point. Look at this. Between May 6th and June 4th of 2021, Dogecoin went up to a maximal price of 75.6 cents per coin. That's from a quarter cent per coin. So 75 times 4, because a quarter cent, so is 75 times 4. That's over a 300x gain from Dogecoin. So all the money I made from GameStop, I could have 300x that by putting it into Dogecoin in 2021 during the summer. Look at this. Immediately after, just very close to the same time that the Dogecoin explosion happened, I could have made my money in Dogecoin, taken it out before it fell, and then put it into the AMC stock, another entertainment stock, AMC channel, the channel that makes The Walking Dead. You look here, between May 31st and June 25th of 2021, AMC had an increase in stock price from a low of $18.13 per share to a high of $46.15 per share. So I'm over 2xing what I made there again. Now, had I just been able to look and put my mind towards, hey, you know what? People are going to be at home. They're going to want to eat without being able to go out. I can capitalize on this food industry of delivering home-cooked meals to the people's houses. Oh, wait, people are now, at home. They're not going out. They don't have any entertainment. They don't have movie theaters that they can go to because of lockdowns. They're going to want to need to be entertained at home with streaming and video platform services and video games. I'm going to invest in those platforms. Had I been like, everyone thinks that 2020 is the end of the world. Governments are becoming very unstable. People are losing trust in traditional currencies, state-backed currencies. They're going to move to cryptocurrency, and it's going to be a big boom in that. Had I thought about all of those things, there is so much money to be made. And though I missed out on a lot of those things, I did make some money off the Dogecoin trade. I had a lot of Dogecoin going into the pandemic. I bought some back in 2018 and held on to it. But still, had I known what I know now, had I had the mindset of understanding how money moves, how money is always moving, you just got to get in its way, there's so much money that could have been made. And I use those lessons to teach both myself and to teach you guys that money is everywhere. You just have to figure out how to get to it. You have to make your mind the biggest investment tool. You have to see where money is moving and get in its way. You have to look for ways to make money in everything. There's always an opportunity to make money. And there's always going to be new opportunities to come, though I missed out on the pandemic ones, on a lot of them. There's always going to be new opportunities to make money to come. And I've been successful so far in looking and finding those opportunities and making money. Guys, you aren't going to make any money if you don't try. Nothing good's going to come to you if you don't go out and get it. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some research. It's going to take some purposeful effort. But anything that you want, you can have it. And that's what we're all about here, making you the richest, the strongest, the wealthiest, the sexiest men you can possibly be, so you can have the life that you want, get the women that you want, and get the results that you want out of life. Guys, I always say it. You cannot expect to live an extraordinary life by putting forth ordinary effort. You have to put forth extraordinary effort. You have to pay extraordinary attention to the things around you, to see the things, the opportunities to make money, the opportunities to capitalize on. And that is how you can become a high value man. That is how you can become a conqueror. That is how you can become the man that the MDmedic Podcast is trying to help you become. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Please give us a like and a subscribe on YouTube. Help boost us in the algorithm so that other men can be empowered, can take the red pill, learn the truth, and escape the matrix. We love you guys so much. MDmedic out.
Thank you.